Hi, I'm staff writer for Under the Hard Hat, Alexis Nichols, and I'm talking today with Lee Mills, CEO and co-founder of Pixly AI. How are you doing today, Lee?
I'm doing outstanding. Thank you. How are you?
Outstanding as well, equally outstanding.
Great.
Um, so I did a little background check. I noticed that you nothing probably compared to what you're used to, but I know.
Thank you.
Well, I saw you have a background in the U.S. Navy in logistics and damage control, and then you moved into startups, and now you're the CEO and co-founder. So I'm wondering, off the top, what do you think your military experience or how has it helped you shape the way you lead Pixley?
That's a great question that I very seldom get asked.
Oh,
It has well, for one, being the founder of a company or a small business or any business is incredibly hard and challenging and difficult. And so one of the many things I learned in the military and in the Navy is you just get it done. Failure is not an option. You don't quit. You just do the job until you get it done. And my job is never done until I get Pixley in the hands of every contractor across the country, if not the world, to help them save time and money and reduce the stress and chaos of everyday project documentation so they can reduce disputes and spend more time doing what they want to do when they're not on the job site. So really it was, they just instill things in you: grit, determination, teamwork.
mm-hmm.
I'm a servant leader. My job is to help people on my team do their job. I work for them. They don't work for me. And we're all in it together.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I love that. I try to adopt that at home with varying degrees of success. I have two teenage boys, so maybe we'll just have you visit and get them in line.
Sure.
Um,
Happy to.
you've worked with multiple startups over the years. So, what do you think was the pivotal moment, or maybe set of moments, that convinced you that Pixley was a problem worth solving?
Yeah, great question also. So after the Navy, I put myself through school doing telemarketing. So I was cold calling, nonstop, selling long distance software, long distance solutions, excuse me. So that's where I cut my teeth doing sales. And as
Mm-hmm.
soon as I graduated school, I did not want to do that anymore. I'm very entrepreneurial by nature. My mom is a small business owner and had three different stores when we were growing up. So it's always been ingrained in me and my DNA. And that was when the tech scene was just starting to take off. So I was one of the first employees at a company called backup.com
Okay.
that did online backups before broadband was around. I got some miles on me. Had some success with that. That led to me starting my own agency called Beyond Clicks.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've gone back and forth going in-house with different clients as a in-house marketing or sales leader. And one of my first construction client was a company called Rakin. Have you heard of Rakin?
Yes, I have. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Rakin was just getting off the ground. My former intern from a startup called Mojo Pages was their director of customer success, and they wanted me to help them out, and so I did. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
here's the playbook, here's everything you need to do. They're like, that's great, but we need somebody to actually do it. So I came in and I set up the strategy, the plan, and I started calling and listening in on demos. And I realized the construction industry and superintendents and project managers are the people I want to work with. They're
Yeah.
salt of the earth. They're very direct. They know what they want. They don't lead you on. They need help. These are people that are getting up very early in the morning. They miss out on their kids growing up because they're
Mm-hmm.
either asleep when they leave and or asleep when they come back.
Yeah.
And there's so many problems and so many opportunities that make construction better and easier and safer and faster and more efficient. So that was my first foray into construction tech. So I helped Rakin get to their first million in ARR in less than a year, built the first team. And part of my go-to-market strategy is always partner with the bigger companies. At that time was
Mm-hmm.
PlanGrid, still Procore, Trimble, all the Autodesk, all the name guys.
Yeah.
That led to me being recruited to join PlanGrid. So I was part of their meteoric rise. And then after that, I was a fractional CMO, chief marketing officer for a company called Cupix that does 360 reality capture.
Okay.
And they
Very
were
cool.
just coming into North America from Korea. And so they hired me to, again, go to market strategy, planning, persona, campaign creation, all event plans, all that stuff. And through
Mm-hmm.
that experience, plus Rake and plus PlanGrid, I've been to hundreds of job sites, everything from ground up hospital builds, new office parks, churches,
Mm-hmm.
schools, home remodels, custom home builds, you name it. I've seen all these projects, and they all have the same problem. They all struggle with photo documentation. Even
Mhm.
people that have Procore or have Autodesk or have every solution underneath them, big E&R companies, they still ultimately text and email photos back and forth all day because it's so hard to
Wow.
get things into their system. I mean, I'm talking to a few big E&R companies right now that we're working with.
Mhm.
So I came intimately familiar with the 360 reality capture space, which is great. The end solution is fantastic. You look around like you're in your project, like a Google map. However, to get there is really hard. You have to have a 360 camera. You either
Yeah.
have to hold it or have it attached to your hard hat, which impacts the safety of your hard hat. And you
Yeah.
literally have to press a button every time you take 5 or 10 steps. So imagine doing that on a 1,000, 5,000, 10,000 square foot job walk every day. So the end result's great, but getting there's hard. They're all hard to use. They all require training. They're all custom quotes. They require equipment. And that's the same time that the iPhone came out with the LiDAR camera and AI was just about to start taking off. And that's when I had the idea for Pixly. So that's how it was born.
It's like a perfect synergy.
Thank
Um, and it seems like your entrepreneurial experience really influenced how you think about like product design, customer feedback, scaling,
Yes.
company culture, perhaps.
Oh,
Would
for
would
sure.
be
Yeah. Like
yeah.
I haven't built anything that I want to build. We build what customers want. So before we incorporated or became official or anything, I sat down with dozens of my customers from the aforementioned companies and said, "Hey, I recognize this problem. I have a solution for it. Would you buy this? Would you use this?" And they all said yes. And I got
Great.
early LOIs. Then before we wrote any code, we walked through them with the UI and UX and what it would look like and how it would interact before we started building. And that's how we started building. That's how we continue to build. So we're releasing
Yeah.
some new features in the near future, and they've all been run by current and potential customers to make sure it fulfills their needs. And we continue to make it super simple.
Yeah. Yeah. It's almost like uh Apple's perspective if you think about it. Like they're not building products, they're creating like an environment. They're creating the solution that they want and then and we also have this tech that can help you live a better life and more
Right.
efficiently. It's a very interesting lens to see a business model through. I guess for our readers, just to start off, can you maybe describe what Pixley is, what kind of platform it is, who uses it, the core problems
Sure.
it solves. Yeah.
Sure. I hope this doesn't offend anybody. I say that jokingly, but one of our one of our customers said Pixie's like Google Photos, Instagram, and Slack had a baby for construction.
I love it.
So what we've done is created the easiest to use app to, I call it snap, tag, and share project photos and videos from the field with anybody in the office, anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world, with a really easy to use app that's built for the field that requires little to no training. So at the beginning of every day,
Mhm.
construction professionals walk their job site, they do a job walk before and after, and sometimes during the day, and they take a bunch of photos. So as soon as you take a photo with Pixley, it's automatically time, date, location stamped. It's shared with everybody on the team. Then the power of Pixley is you could tap on a photo and add a tag. We have a patent on this. A tag could be anything you want. It could be
Yeah.
pre-existing conditions. It could be damage. It could be rust. It could be rework. It could be anything like that. That's also time, date, location stamped. Then you can do voice to text comments to support that tag, and then you can assign it to somebody as a punch list item, so they get assigned that punch list item, that tag, which is also time, date, location stamped. Then you can see what's being done or not being done by project or by workspace anytime through a dashboard.
Mm.
Anything can be exported immediately as a single photo or as a PDF. And the whole idea is really just to stop the chaos of text and email, uploading, downloading, sharing all this stuff in our platform, which we have APIs that plug into all the big guys too. But
Okay.
ultimately, it's about saving time, reducing stress, stopping the chaos, so these hardworking people can just go home sooner, faster, with less stress, and build better.
Safely. Yeah. I like the stop the chaos. I hope that's a tagline somewhere.
It is. I
Um,
say it a lot because it is
yeah,
chaos. I mean,
it
people
is.
take so many photos and they either run out of storage or they're mixed with their kid photos,
Hmm.
motorcycle photos, hunting, whatever their passion is. And the problem is a dispute can happen today, tomorrow, but it can also happen up to 10 years from now.
Yeah.
So one of the
Yeah.
biggest disputes that happens, one of the biggest concern is waterproofing. So if water gets into your building and causes any damage, everybody's pointing fingers at somebody. So whoever can document that they did the waterproofing the right way or signed off on it, they
Yeah.
protected themselves, right?
Construction can be inherently siloed. I think everything in the AAC, and I think this solves a lot of problems, so that there is no finger pointing, and
Correct.
nobody drops the ball, so to speak.
Times where we have a customer who lays foundation and driveways for a very large home builder. They lay the foundation, they lay the driveway, and they're done. They go to the next neighborhood. Then two
Yeah,
months later, somebody's blaming them for a crack in the concrete. Like, nope, that was done. It was perfect when we left. We'll fix
yeah,
it, but it's going to be a change order. You have to pay for it, right?
that's right.
So there's 1,000 use cases like that. We have another client, a very, very large kitchen bath remodeler that uses Pixly on 600 active projects any given week. We save
Wow.
them 45 minutes a day per project. Every time the technician walks into somebody's house, they take photos of pre-existing conditions. They don't want to get blamed for that dent on the nice, shiny aluminum refrigerator, right? Or
Yeah,
the crack in
yeah.
the tile. Or when they do start taking out the kitchen and there's mold, that has to
Yeah,
really be properly documented, and remediation is a big thing. And then also for
yeah,
QA, QC.
yeah.
So whether it's an independent contractor with a small electrical company, a plumbing company, or a big kitchen and bath remodeler, or an ENR 400 company, or anybody in between, we solve the
Hmm.
same pain for all of them.
Those are great use cases. What about the AI component? Can you explain maybe how AI is woven into the product? What's automated? What's manual still? And how data
Yes.
and analytics factor in?
For sure, for sure. So our domain is .ai for a reason. The plan, everything I just described to you will be done automatically with AI. So we do have a proof of concept that I can demo to people to see how this works.
Mm,
So we automatically tag what's in the photos, and we also automatically tag what's wrong in the photos, whether it's a crack, a dent, whatever it might be. That takes a lot of training, which is in the works right now. But we got a grant from AWS to build our proof of concept. We have another one that we're working on our MVP right now, and that's also why we're in the midst of a capital raise to build out our AI team and infrastructure.
that's great. I think from the people I've spoken to in construction, they are notoriously hesitant to adopt new technology. In particular, there's a major hesitancy with AI. Can you maybe speak to what the response has been, and
Sure.
and
Yeah.
integrating?
Yeah. Sure. Generally speaking, our customers, the people that we serve, they don't care if it's AI or not. They just want their problem solved. They just want a solution. Yes, there are many people that are scared of AI or intimidated by AI. There's others that love it. The big ENR
Mhm.
400 that had directors of innovation, they're all about AI. The small specialty subcontractors that, aside from Pixley, are running their business on an Excel spreadsheet or Google Doc, they're not a fan, right? So it
Yeah,
really runs the gamut. At the end of the day, I think AI's got a place in many places for sure,
yeah,
for time savings, for efficiencies, for data, for documentation. It's not to cure all for everything, but
right.
at the end of the day, as if we're solving a problem, it doesn't matter if it's with AI or not, as long as we're solving a problem.
Yeah, I interviewed someone recently who said that AI won't replace people, but it will replace people who don't work with AI or don't understand it or are
Yeah,
hesitant to adopt it.
sure.
Um, and you've talked about some of the use cases. Is there a favorite use case that stands out to you?
For AI.
No, for Pixley. Well, for Pixley AI.
Oh gosh, I mean, there's so many use cases. I mean, like the example I just shared with Kitchen Saver Bath Saver. So
Yeah,
pre-existing conditions all the way through to completion, and then they also use their technicians' photos for their promotions. Whoever
yeah,
does the best work and the best work is documented well, I mean that helps them climb the corporate ladder, which is fantastic.
yeah.
Sharp Hospital San Diego is using us on a 10-year, $500 million expansion project, and they have in California, you have to have an inspector of record who's our
Mhm.
champion. So they use us to document all stages, all steps of this massive hospital build. And then that's expanded to actually to them using Pixie for facility maintenance too. So it's not just construction, like a building has a lifespan, right? It's an idea, maybe it's an embryo, it's some plans, and
Yeah.
then there's pre-existing conditions, right? And then they're actually building, and then once you're done, whether it's a hospital or a house or an office park or whatever, or a retail store, whatever, restaurant, people
Hmm.
move in and out. Things break. Things need to be upgraded. Like we have, this is a really unique use case. So we have one client that owns 14 eye tans, which are tanning salons in San Diego. Now, you might not think you need a tanning salon in San Diego, but they're very popular here. and their equipment is very expensive. And so if something breaks, it could be a bulb, it could be a fuse, it could be all these different
Yeah.
things. They have to order it anyway. There's a lot to it. So before Pixly, this one owner was going back and forth to 14 locations, fixing one-off things nonstop. It was just nonstop chaos. Now they have Pixly. Each retail location has a workspace. They document any damage, any repairs, anything needs to be fixed. All this stuff's time-based location stamp. They send
Mhm.
those reports to the manufacturer, and if something breaks more than twice, they get a whole new machine versus fighting with warranty claims. The same thing
That's
could be
really
applied
smart.
to any piece of construction equipment or any piece of medical device equipment. I mean, there's so many applications. So it was born for construction and the E&R and the specialty subs and everybody else, but we also have a play in facility maintenance once a building is done.
Yeah, I was literally going to ask you beyond traditional construction if there were other sectors or kind of inroads. So that's really interesting.
Yeah, another one's
Yeah,
insurance.
I was going
So
to ask you. Yeah, real estate, facility management, things like that. Yeah,
yeah, so God forbid, my heart goes out to all these people in Altadena and Maui
yeah,
that lost their homes, and I'm willing to. Unfortunately, a lot of them did not have their insurance policies all up to date. They ran out with their phone if they were even home. Like
yeah.
how many things have you bought for your house in the last year that's not on your policy,
Uh, yeah,
right?
yeah,
So we're
yeah,
working on a consumer
yeah.
insurance version of Pixely too.
That's fantastic.
Thank you.
Um, what are what do you think are some of the biggest technical or adoption challenges outside of what I had mentioned earlier about like
Well,
hesitancy?
yeah, everybody's got a mobile phone. Period.
Right.
Lots of people have a tablet. The challenge is changing people's workflows. Once they're used to doing something a certain way, it can be a challenge to change that workflow until
Yeah.
something happens, until there is a massive dispute and they
Hmm.
can't find that photo or that video evidence. Then they're like, oh my God, I got to do something about this. Otherwise, they kind of just hum along. But they're
Yeah.
basically playing, a dangerous game because it's not when, it's if they're going to have a dispute that goes to court.
Yeah.
30% of projects have disputes that go to court, right? How many don't go to court, or how many could be avoided? So the trick, not the trick, but once I can show Pixie to people and how easy it is to use, then they have the aha moment. A lot of
Hmm.
people have been burned by great salespeople selling bad software. That's the biggest problem. So, or in the
Interesting.
past, people would sell to the COO or the owner or the president, and that person would say, "Hey, we're going to use this software," and the field's like, "No, we don't like it. We're not going to use it," and they would just rebel, and then they're stuck with that bill for a year, and then so that's happened time and time again. So some people have a bad taste in their mouth. So for
Yeah.
big companies, the big E&R guys, you have to win a champion, you have to get a pilot project, you have to do the project, it has to go well, and then you can get introduced to the rest of the region or the organization. Smaller companies move faster, but people do realize that there is a better way. People are starting to realize how valuable and precious time is. You don't get it back.
Absolutely.
Every day, 15 minutes a day adds up to be a lot of time over a year or two,
Yeah.
right? Time can
Time
be,
is literally money, and time spent with family and friends. Um,
yeah,
privacy. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, less time worrying about documenting and collaborating and sharing all these project photos could be more time winning new projects and more
Yeah.
profits and more family time or whatever's important to that person.
Absolutely. On the privacy and like data security side, like which is critical, obviously, if you're dealing with photos and videos of job sites. So what does Pixley do to ensure compliance, security, confidentiality, things like that?
Sure, everything is in a secure AWS cloud, is encrypted all the way from start to finish at rest and everything in between. It's my company, myself nor a tech team can see anything unless we're literally invited to your projects.
Hmm.
We've passed very stringent security tests and audits, and no problem.
That's
So
great.
everything's yours. We're the platform for capturing, sharing, organizing, managing, exporting all of your visual assets.
Yeah.
They're yours. They belong to you, not to us. So they can
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
exported at any time.
Um, well, that's good to know. In terms of the construction industry, and how it's continuously evolving with respect to like digital transformation, do you think there's like a tipping point approaching where maybe photo video documentation will become standard or even compulsory?
I hope so.
From my
I,
mouth.
I think so. From your mouth to God's ears. Yeah. I mean, yeah, again, like everybody, the thing is, like everybody does use a phone every day on the job site. And our biggest competitor is not Procore, it's not Autodesk, it's text and
Mm,
email or WhatsApp. It just becomes unwieldy because over and over time, it just becomes too much. So I think
yeah.
part of it's awareness. There's other solutions in the space. It's a huge space. It's a huge problem. And I think the tipping point is when people just get really frustrated. They can't find what they need when they need it, and they lose a dispute. And it's probably more awareness. So, or all those things combined.
That's fantastic. What do you think Pixley is going to look like in 3 to 5 years? What does success look like? We can come back to it if you want.
No,
Okay.
that's a
Okay.
great question. I mean, we've been at this for a few years. We have thousands of users. We have dozens of customers. Success for us will be when we can capture, I would say, 20% of the market
Okay.
and be the default solution and be like the household name. So Pixley is
Mm.
just synonymous with construction, job site, documentation.
Yeah. Do you think it's going to be a challenge, maybe balancing innovation with keeping a platform that's simple, reliable, and easy to use?
It is, for sure. It is. So that's why we're investing a lot of time and money in user experience and user interfaces. So
Hmm.
we are in the process, due to customer demand, we are in the process of releasing a few massive features along with the AI talked about. One is forms.
Okay.
So in the next 3 months, any customer will be able to create their own form, whether it's a daily report, a QA, a QC, an audit. They can basically go to the web app version of it and create that form with their logo and their branding with an e-signature, and
Yeah.
it'll be available to all their users in the mobile app. That now, what I described sounds pretty easy, but it's got to be presented in a very simple, clean way in the web app for people to do it
Yeah.
and use it and enjoy it. So we've hired a UI UX expert for that.
Hmm.
The next thing we're building is blueprints and drawings, which is also a top feature. So right now, Pixley pins photos to maps with latitude and longitude, but it's all horizontal. Now we have a lot of customers that are building
Oh.
vertical and they want blueprints and drawings. And I've got a lot of experience with that from PlanGrid. So we've got that built out
Hmm.
technically in the back end, but we also are investing time and energy into the front customer experience, UI, UX, to also make sure it's easy to use. So right now, when you open up Pixley, you go to your project feed,
Hmm.
which shows all the photos in a list view or a grid view. But the next option will be able to see them in a plan view. And so you see all your plans, and there'll be a pin to the photo, a pin to each photo attached to that plan that you can mouse over and
Wow.
see, and then do all the commenting, adding, editing tags, and assigning tasks. So that also has to be done really, really well. So we're on almost our second version of the designs for that, which is super exciting because we want to
Yeah.
continue to build and innovate and make Pixley like super easy to use and intuitive. Like
Hmm.
right now, not everybody realizes you have to tap on a photo to add the tag to all the features, which is what's driving that next iteration.
Yeah. And obviously to be something that people can't live without, which is the
Yes.
ultimate, I think, the ultimate goal.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
the ultimate goal for me is for people to be like, "Hey, I heard about Pixley. Can we try it?"
yeah,
Right? Like that's word
absolutely.
of mouth is gold. We're
Mm.
also doing some other things to improve the collaboration and sharing too. But yeah,
Yeah.
success for me is helping. Like my success is helping as many people as we possibly can. Just spend less time on the job site.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's it. Like we want to
Yeah.
help people spend less time on the job site and enjoying their personal lives more.
And through solid leadership, obviously.
Yes.
Um, my yes. My last question to you would be what advice you might give to other founders or startup leaders trying to introduce tech solutions to traditional industries like AEC.
Oh wow. I'd be happy to connect with anybody. I know how hard it
Yeah.
is. It's no easy feat. I
Yeah.
don't think I'd be able to do it without my military experience, to be honest. But I've also been able to surround myself with some other founders and we help each other, we cheer each other
Yeah.
on. You got to find a mentor that's already successful in the space to help you. That
Hmm.
makes all the difference in the world because very seldom is somebody going to tell you good job. You have to tell
Mm.
yourself good job. You have to keep yourself going. and you can't quit. Like if you're going to do this, you better be willing to go all in, like burn all the boats. It could cost you everything. So you got
Yeah.
to make sure it's worth it.
That's
Uh,
also
every,
solid parenting advice.
it is, right? Yeah, I'm also a parent to a
Yeah.
4-year-old. I have a 4-year-old startup and a 4-year-old daughter at the same time.
Wow.
So
You don't do anything halfway.
no, thank you. Yeah. So I mean, to the point though, like any of those people can connect with me, but I would say, first of all, make sure you validate your idea with potential customers, not your friends, because your
Right.
friends aren't going to tell you no or hurt your feelings. But go out and talk to target customers, show them an idea of what you're building, and ask them to write a letter of intent or to agree to pay for it and subscribe to it before you spend a dime. You might have the best idea in the world, but if nobody's going to buy it, then what's the point?
Precisely. Well, that I mean, that's kind of the end of my questions. Is there anything that you want our readers slash listeners to know that I may not have covered?
Sure. I'd say anybody that's listening or reading can go to pixie.ai or download our app for free in either of the app stores. There's a free version that you can use,
Mhm.
and I'll give a discount code of Q420 relevant to the show for anybody that signs up within now and the end of the year.
That's fantastic.
Outstanding. That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's great to meet you. Thank you for the opportunity, and we appreciate it.
Likewise. Thank you, Lee, for a great interview. We'll talk soon.
Thanks, Alexis. Bye.
Bye. Yay.